Keep this. No, we didn't trophy. Yeah, I think I just the border on these is weird for whatever reason. It feels weird to say this, but I actually think the hitbox on the card is off. Yeah, I bought these lands in paper. I think they look really good in paper. That's kind of why I wanted to play them today. Oh no, don't Ren and 6 me. I guess we can double burn spell it. So we can go Steamboat's Bolt, Hallowed Fountain Helix, I guess. I play Jeskai as what Riptide for Snapcaster? I don't know. The thing is of course, the problem is Riptide Laboratory is not going to play very well with your counter spells if you play those cards. Yeah, I mean, I'm just in this habit, of course, of not right clicking on the card. Of course you can avoid the misclick. I'm just in a bad habit. But of course, this is like an avoidable thing. They have another Triome to cycle? Oof. They just... Oh, they're the creativity deck. Okay. They can't mine, but they could have creativity here if they had it. I think I'm going to Snap Bolt them. Yeah, they have the treasure, so it's not like Bolt breaks up their combo. I guess I'll Helix. Sure. Obviously, like, if they're just not doing anything into our Cryptic, it's a bit awkward, but I don't really feel like I can tap out here. Is Wildfire the Flagstone a good choice? We didn't have that option this game. Alright, I think I'm just gonna Cryptic this. We drew the Flagstone off the Wildfire. Alright, so we can resolve a Planeswalker here. But they're also at 8. I could go just like Teferi bounce. Yeah, let's actually go Teferi bounce their treasure token. And they'll stack it for mana. But it also means that we can probably Snap Bolt their token that they make to stop them from polymorphing. I think they have the extra turn effect there, the 3 mana one that they just didn't want to use. So I think we can go for Teferi. It's a bit risky if they have like remands. But again, it lets us hold up Snap Bolts. And just with all these Planeswalkers in our hand, I do think that it's a little hard to just sit back forever. And it worked. And we drew Cryptic. Okay. Things are looking up. Another Prismari command to loot to make a treasure token. They discard a creativity and another command. So really good that we drew the Cryptic, because otherwise we weren't gonna be able to counter the polymorph. Is it better to just bounce the token though? I mean, I'm just gonna counter this. I don't think they made deck Spell Pierce or anything like that. Ooh, Path is really, really good against them. Yeah, so we get to go Teferi minus on the treasure, and they get to fizzle the draw, but we get to have Snap Cryptic plus Path up. Alright. Good game one for us, or at least like relatively good game one. I probably want to play like 3 Path, 2 Bolt or something like that. Wildfire may be kind of difficult to tap out for. Purge enters Rin at 6 and their dragon, so I guess we want the Purge too. The Dispute seem okay. Gust seem okay. Stoneforge Mystic. I think we could maybe bring these in. Do something like this. Just like 2 Stoneforges and a Feast and Famine. Maybe Tail's End is better than Lightning Bolt. What made me change your sideboard from Platinum Package to Stoneforge Mystic? I mostly just wanted to try it out. Mostly just wanted to try it out, honestly. In this like weird time before Horizons too. But I think the theory makes a lot of sense to me. Doesn't resolve 3-mana Tef, just win since Laurel can't cast anything. I mean, they can kill the Teferi with 3-mana Tef. Do something like this. Let's do this. And then they can't go off that turn, but you have to have like an answer to the dragon after that. The Sanctifier and Valkyrie plays Aryak Champion in the board for decks like Stoneblade. It's more of like a card against like Dredge in my mind than a card against... Boarding out the Wildfires kind of makes this hand stinky. I think we could keep on the draw. Put him ult to 6. I'm going to play probably Flagstones on turn 1, so that way if I draw a second Flagstones, I can get a blue source. No, we didn't 5 in the last league. Zombies was too powerful for us. Probably not a good matchup, but definitely a beatable one. We may never draw a blue source. I think this hand's still fine to keep on the draw. Just any blue source makes this hand really good. If I force, I'm going to pitch Cryptic, I think. Sad. Still have game 3 even if we lose this game. Oops. Helix me. Kind of surprised that card's still in their deck. Still doing actually like really well, I feel, if we just draw a land. Alright. Still playing. Were there any additional reanimation targets for blue black? Yeah, I think that you might like sideboard some and main deck maybe just Archon. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, there's a lot of options. Alright, this is maybe our last turn to draw a land, I don't know. Little unlucky, I say. Little unlucky. Well, it's not a +1 for leak yet because we can't cast either Counterspell or Mana Leak. Helix kills 3 Fairy. I mean, sometimes. Well, they boarded an Emrakul? Oh my gosh, they got me so bad. I mean, if they hit both of their dragons, though, like the path like blows them out pretty badly here. I was thinking that they would just get both dragons, like a path of dragon, but they boarded an Emrakul, which is good for them. All right, game 3 on the play. Maybe we'll draw a functioning hand. All right, functioning hand. Let's go. Poggers. Pummel to 5. Yeah, Emrakul is pretty good against us. I guess this is a hand where Mana Leak... Well, I mean, if we had Counterspell, we'd just play the Fountain, but... Yeah. Do donation decks enter the stream with haste after 7/7? No, they'll still be on Thursdays. If that's your question. So I could go Snapcaster, path my own Snapcaster. I'm just gonna take a draw step. I think it's a suspend joke. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. It's a good joke then, yeah. Just to clarify. I'll mana leak a I'll take up the mana leak better counter. Although I've been like totally neglecting it today. I think the meme's almost dead. I think we're all over it. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Alright, gonna wait on that one. Did I choose 7/7 as a date so no one asks? No, that just happened to be like the week I wanted to use it. But I did comment on the fact that incidentally is a really nice day to have it, because no matter like if you're European or American, you're gonna understand the intended date. I've been over it for a while. Yeah, me too, dude. I mostly have been over it when everybody, or when people in chat take it like way more seriously than they need to. Man, I love Force of Negation. And I hate Veil of Summer. Yeah, so playing this in Blessing plays around the dragon, because we can path the dragon, plays around Emrakul because we can minus on the Emrakul. Looks like a time warp. Is Force of Negation going to the moon after the fetch reprint? Or is it to the moon already? I don't know. This is not, like, sometimes I'll have thoughts on MTG Finance, and I'll share them when I do, but it's definitely not the focus of the stream. Yeah, so if they okay, just time warp again. Do you have a list of decks for brewing once MH2 drops? I have a list. I haven't released it. I'm working on it. I've built like I think I've got like 8 good decks already, and then like 11 or 12 other good deck ideas. Like 7 or 8 decks built right now. 11 or 12 other good deck ideas. But I have been posting some lists to Twitter. So if you want to see some lists I've already kind of put together, just main decks right now. But you can see some. I think I've got 4 released now. I'll post like 2 more today, I think. All right, I think we get to untap here. Junk list. What does that mean? My list or junk, or are you looking for an Abzan deck? Junk was originally banned. Yeah, I've never heard that before. That's cool. Abzan deck. Well, I don't currently have an Abzan deck for you. But I don't. Maybe we'll make one. Like Abzan Stoneblade could be a thing because of Vindicate. Can you explain the rationale of Manamorphose in my Domain Zoo deck? It triggers the general that whenever you cast a multicolored card, you gain a 4/4 Golem token. That's really the only reason it's in there, and it doesn't have like a huge cost associated with playing it either. It's like not that hard to play it. Wrong. Let's mulligan this on the play against Yorion. Keep this, put back Helix, I think. Just lead on Mountain. Is hitting Domain that hard? No, it's not, but yeah, like you basically always like to have Domain on turn 2, and if you don't, you probably should mulligan. Modern have almost all the cards of Maverick. Will it work after MH2? It's really funny that you asked that, because I don't know what Maverick is. Like, everybody seems like they have a different definition for Maverick, right? Like, Maverick is like, I've seen Maverick describe like 2 people can play Maverick and they can have 50 different cards in their deck. It's just really doesn't describe anything to me. In fact, it used to be when I grinded paper tournaments, I would put like blue white control Maverick or like Teamer Dynavolt Tower Maverick. It didn't matter. Whatever I was playing, I would put Maverick in the deck name because Maverick is just any deck. All right, the second game, I had two options in mind. Removing 2 oracles, hoping you don't have a removal spell. I think it's probably better to leave 2 oracles in your deck because in a sideboard game, I'm a lot less likely to have a removal spell, would be my thinking there. DZ, thank you for your 3-month resub. Appreciate you, buddy. I think Gaddock T, Green Sun, something. Well, I mean, Zenith and Birthing Pot are both banned, but that's also Nick Fit, you know. I have an idea for 1,000,000 points. Should I email you Twitter asset? Yeah, you can do that if you don't want to say it here. If you want to keep it secret, you can do that. Yeah, just like DM me on Twitter. I'll take a look. I think I'll Cryptic counter this. Bit of a flood. The more I look at Dothuli Voidwalker, the more it seems busted. I don't know. Oh, I can't believe they conceded there. So probably playing as like a Kiki Chord style deck. I don't know. Voidwalker, it's a 3-mana 3/2. You know, like there's like a real you know, when you compare it to Ragavan, like you spend 1 mana on Ragavan, your opponent's gonna 1 mana 1-for-1 you, and that's an even trade. But if your opponent kills your Voidwalker for 1 mana, they're up there. That's a favorable exchange for them. So I'm not saying the card is bad, but the floor on it seems like pretty low. Just keep 1 force as a hedge, maybe. Yeah, sorry. I think I misspoke, but like Ragavan is 1 mana, Void, whatever the Void card is 2 mana, right? Try something like this. It's bad against decks running cheaper action, but why would you want to bring it in anyways? Well, it's for big mana stuff. I don't know that's necessarily good against big mana, but if you're saying it's just a sideboard card, like then why are people calling this card nuts, you know? Sideboard cards are all nuts in Modern. It is a good card, I think. Good draw. Do you think any of the Ephemerate decks have mana bases that can handle Riptide Lab? Yeah, like specifically the blue-white one has like, you know, you can bounce Spell Snare, Sprite, and Vincer. It seems like something. Uh-oh. Okay, I thought that was going to be Teferi. Oh, no. I should have left with Helix. Which MH2 cards do I think will be the most impactful? I think there's like 30 cards are going to be really impactful. And like 1 or 2 that are going to be super duper impactful. But the thing is, it's, you know, again, it's going to be like 30 really impactful cards. So it's hard to just like make a tier list for you off the spot or anything. Canister, thanks for the raid, dude. I saw your Breaking of the Dead format post. This looked pretty good. Did it go well? No, you can't. Riptide Laboratory does not work with filter lands. You have to filter a color into the filter lands. Riptide taps for colorless, right? Yeah, for whatever reason, like Twitter just doesn't work when I click it from chat, Ghost. But I do really like that account. I'm doing well, Kuzan. How are you doing? Ooh. What about the old filter lands? I mean, those work, but are those even modern legal? And they're also not very good. So they have Yorion, 3 unknowns in their hand. 12 Cs. Yeah, that new Merfolk's kind of interesting. I saw Nikachu's really high on it. I do think that card's good at Merfolk, but Your land stops being an island once you deal with it, which feels like a pretty big deal to me. Oh man. Whoops. Although maybe that was the right play. Well, I don't have triple blue, so Mana Leak would be the same. Or Counterspell would be like... Actually, Mana Leak's... Yeah, better, actually. It's funny. Never mind, Mana Leak worse! Worse because they got to use Veil of Summer. Or maybe better because they got Veil out of their hand. I don't know. Let's just leave that one off. With all Tribal Love, do you think they should have included a better sweeper? I mean, they included one of the best sweepers of all time. Damn. The Dam is like an amazing sweeper, so... Yeah, I don't think that argument holds a lot of water, to be honest. Yeah, people calling Voidwalker busted. I feel like the card is like just, fine. And Marauder is probably playable too. Both cards seem similar power levels. We added the static point for every time Tron... We added a point every time that happened, which has been a few times. You can't just jam it in every black deck? Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just... Like, people keep calling Void Walker nuts, but exactly. It's not like you're just going to play this card in every single black deck, which would, I think, be, like, the requirement for it to be nuts. Okay. They could maybe add loyalty to Teferi here. We know that their hand is currently Yorion mystery card. They're going to reset Chandra. Weird. I think Voidwalker is super bad. Yeah, it feels like a sideboard card to me. Honest, I agree. The card's like feels like just not crazy. I could be wrong, though. I've been wrong about cards. I've been wrong about cards before. I'll be wrong about cards again. Could maybe have Helix with Chandra and then held up Leak. What's the price for deck tech again? Usually $5, but don't tell the rest of chat. I'll do one for free for your 3-month resubscription Dawn Night. But don't tell the rest of chat because they'll all want one. IDK Void is broken, but I don't think I agree with the logic. Sure. Maybe you could counterpoint though. If not, it's obviously not a big deal. I also usually digest the spoilers a bit better, when I'm not also streaming. Luca. Well, their hand is Yorion mystery card. This could just be to play around Mana Leak. Hopefully it's not, another Veil of Summer. Cool. Cool deck opponent. They're saying a card does not need to be busted in every deck to be busted. Sure, but this card is not like a Hogak card. This is not a synergy-based card. Like, Voidwalker is a fair card, you know what I mean? It's just like, you would put this card in like your mid-range deck or your control deck if you're going to put it in a deck. And so if that's the case, it does need to be good in every black deck like that, where Hogak only goes in one deck, but it's broken there. But when you compare what Voidwalker is like a very inherently just fair threat in your control deck. So it does need to be one of the best black cards ever if you're going to include it, because that should be your goal when you play a mid-range deck or a control deck, is you're playing all of the best cards in your colors or the most efficient threats, whatever. Does that logic make sense or no? Yeah, game should be locked. Close to it. Yeah, this doesn't really do anything. That does something, though. It's a pretty good last 2 cards, huh? I guess I should upkeep the Wildfire to tap the land. Cool, 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 cool. An old favorite play of mine. Alright, so now I guess we're gonna go Snap Helix the Guardian. Just trade Snapcaster for Guardian here. Alright. 2-0. We started all of our leagues today 2-0. We 3-2'd the first one. We lost playing for 5-0 against Zombies last league. Now we're 2-0. Jeskai is just kind of feeling good to me. Can keep this hand. Lily misses on your Twitter. Yeah, I mean, I like Liliana. I think Liliana is a playable modern card, but if you could just play Luris or Liliana, that's like the main decision point. It honestly isn't much of a decision in my mind. However, notice how much more interactive Modern has become over the last 5 years. Well, I don't think that you could like really comment on. Modern has changed, so it's gone through so many changes over the last 5 years. There's been like great formats in those last 5 years and like completely unplayable formats. You know, we've had Hogak Summer, we've had the Tybalt Winter, we had the Urza season that was also really toxic as well. But in between those formats, we've had really good formats, and I guess you could, I guess it is accurate to say that it has skewed more interactive over the years. Yeah. I usually do force this, so I guess we'll keep that going here. Yeah, Eldrazi Winter. Well, no, Eldrazi Winter I think was more than 5 years ago now. Maybe I'm wrong. All night, no free rides for my favorite content creators looking to play something different for a tourney. Can you post the? I appreciate you donating. Can you post the link in the chat though? I can't actually copy and paste from my view here. But again, thank you. Historic. Okay. Well, I don't play a ton of Historic, but I can try to give you any insights I have to this deck. So one note I have here is I think you're just doing a bit too much to make your scheming symmetry work, or you have to play like what is like a really poor card in Vicious Rumors. Like this card is very underpowered. Yeah, Vicious Rumor is quite underpowered, and it seems like you're mostly playing this to make your scheming symmetry work, which I don't love. I also feel like, you know, you're playing 23 lands, but you're like, your deck is like quite slow and big. Yeah, I honestly don't think like main decking all these Ashioks, main decking the Vicious Rumors is good enough to make scheming symmetry. I think I'm gonna bolt this. I don't think it's like a good enough reason to play scheming symmetry. I don't know that there is a good enough reason, but it seems kind of underpowered to me. So if you want to play like a black-white approach to the Second Sun deck, like it might be better to play more like colorless mana rocks of some kind. I'm going to try to represent counter magic here. More colorless mana rocks of some kind. There's also like the 3 mana tutor, which is also not quite that good, I think. It's kind of hard for me to talk about the sideboard either too much, just because I don't really know what the landscape of Historic looks like, but I'm not sure that this deck idea works. I can't think of any other enablers, so I guess my advice is cut the scheming symmetry. So I think if I attack, my opponent's going to be able to pretty easily read that I have a bolt, but they might attack first, and then I'll get to bolt the Dryad. We'll see. Probably losing this game. Game 2. Get to bring in the Gusts, the Stoneforges, the Feast and Famine. Maybe the Batterskull too. Like, the Feast and Famine's really good against them. The burn spells are really bad. Path is good. Teferi Time Raveler is not that good. I kind of want one Verdict. But maybe if I bring in the Stoneforges, I don't want the Verdicts. Oh, I don't want the Snare. Yeah, don't want the Snare. So I guess I can play the Verdict there. What's the medium case on Voidwaker? I mean, the medium case is your opponent just kills it for 1 mana. Maybe I need to reread Voidwalker. It's just like the card just seems like kind of medium, like a good sideboard card against graveyard decks. But people are losing their mind over it. Like, is this a card of mill? Is that what people are thinking? Kind of said to mulligan Gust and Feast and Famine, but I think we should. Yeah, we just have so few creatures. I think I'll put back the Feast and Famine here. Alright, Void Shocker, 3/2 Shadow. If a card would put in opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile instead of the Void counter, sacrifice it, and tap it to cast a spell with a Void counter without paying its mana cost. It's just like, fine card. Probably not. Maybe you played a mill, and maybe no other deck. Well, I'll force this, I guess. Scary start, though. Alright, here's a new card, though. Captain Ripley Vance. 3 mana, 3/2. Whenever you cast your third spell, put a counter on it, then it deals damage equal to its power to any target. It's like almost good. You mentioned that Counterspell makes Riptide Lab only a maybe. Do you think Counterspell also means blue-white decks won't want to play Field of Ruin anymore? I mean, blue-white decks have not been playing Field of Ruin already because Archmage's Charm is like so worth playing that Counterspell only like adds to that. But yeah, I do think so. Like, one thing is, like, blue-white control I don't expect to be a good deck in Modern Horizons 2. People are going to play it because that's, like, people love just basic blue-white control, but I feel like Jeskai and Esper both bring, and Bant maybe, both bring more to the table than a regular blue-white does, and Horizons 2 has not done anything, I think, to really make me want to play blue-white instead. Unless Moderation, the Sam Black card... Unless that card's just busted, then we'll see. Maybe Snapcaster's the card I want to shuffle. You don't think Moderation is very good? That's also how I currently evaluate, but I also think that Moderation is the most difficult card in the set to evaluate. So if they have a Bounce Land and Titan, they can cast it if they get a Zusi here. They get Dryad instead. You can't evaluate Moderation on the surface. It requires you to build your deck around it to maximize the card. Well, I mean, that's how I'm trying to figure out how you would build it, right? I'm trying to figure out how to evaluate by thinking about how I would build a deck around Moderation. I'm having a really difficult time. But that's definitely, you know, the context I'm trying to evaluate it in is like what kind of deck would play Moderation, what would your control deck look like, and you know what I've kind of mentally come up with has not seemed good so far. Thank you for your 5-month resubscription. Appreciate you, buddy. There might be something to it though. Might be something to it. I guess we should draw step path. Maybe it plays better with discard than counter magic. Probably not if you're blue-white. I don't know. Like, your discard spells are 1 mana. That's like your whole turn. Is it maybe not a control deck? No, it's definitely a control deck, I think. Maybe sideboard card in aggro decks, but I think it's meant to be built around in a control deck. Seems solid in pitch blue. The problem is it's like it's good that first turn to have a pitch card, but then it's like I don't know, like if your opponent puts this card into play, you just wait until you can cast 2 spells in the same turn, you know? If you're trying to it seems like really easy to overwhelm counter spells if your opponent has moderation in play. You just like can wait a little bit to cast a spell maybe. And maybe that's not true. Seems like it might be though. Just really hard card to evaluate. You need a mix of proactive and reactive, yeah. Would taxes not be the best shell if they're playing cards that stop players from playing more than one spell anyways? Maybe. You also like can use Aether Vial to kind of overcome the downside to some extent. I hadn't really considered it in that shell, but I agree that there might be something to that idea. But 4-color Dredge with moderation? I don't think Dredge is that interested in tapping out for an enchantment that does nothing on turn 3. Another thing to consider with this card is that there's a million cards in Modern that like are 3 mana, generated a lot of advantage, and like you have to untap with them and you build your deck around it for that to be good. There are a lot of cards that kind of meet that shell where it's like a 3 mana card and like your deck is kind of built around resolving it and having it be in play. And there's a ton of cards in Modern and Magic like that, and I don't think any of them are Modern playable. I don't think any of them are Modern playable as like just completely build around this 3 mana enchantment or artifact to put it in play, hope it stays in play. And this isn't like a good card, and you don't necessarily need it to be in play to function. Of course, that's not necessarily true. But it is something I think to think about. That these kinds of cards are usually not very good in my opinion. Yeah, I have the Stoneforges in the sideboard of this deck since like your opponents are going to board out removal against you a lot of the time, 1, and then 2, when you're playing Jeskai, you have a lot of burn spells, which are dead in a lot of matchups. Like you have a lot of counter spells, which are dead in some matchups too. And so it's good to have a package like this that you can bring in no matter what your opponent is playing. I think Boggles was seen uptick in play with all the new enchantments and enablers. I feel like I haven't seen. No, I don't think the new enchantment cards slid into Boggles very well. I feel like they're gonna more so be like an Enchantress deck or not. Killing Teleria seems good because the bounce land. Yeah, maybe that's an option. But with Force of Negation in my hand, maybe I'm not that worried about T West. They also don't have force this. I think you're just supposed to force like any a cantrip here. So 1 game 2. What do you think of the new affinity cards? So they've got spoiled, this morning. I haven't really digested them very much, but they both seem very powerful to me, and definitely seem worth building around. So I'm not sure exactly what a shell around them looks like because I haven't had a ton of time to think about it. I think we keep this. Obviously, this hand's not great, but we can wildfire them or ourselves on turn 2 and maybe turn 3 Jace. We kept 7. Maybe we should mulligan. I'm going to try it. Can you just shove them into your Gingerbread Urza deck? You can, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the best shell. Any way to take advantage of their high mana value? Yeah, there might be. Like, there's that new card, Calculated Blast or Calibrated Blast. I'm kind of trying to make that card work with Emrakul. It's 3 mana, deal 15. Doesn't seem that hard to do. It's maybe not that easy either, I guess. Yeah, it looks like they'll have the ability to turn 3 Titan if we don't Wildfire them. Yeah, definitely new consideration for the new tracker in the Urza Cabin deck. So let's Wildfire them. Bad draw. At least we have the Jace to maybe shuffle these back. Nine-minute Cascader can cascade into Tybalt. Yeah. Finally, we can cascade into Tybalt again. It's been too long. Alright, it's going to be kind of a hard decision if we tap out for Jace next turn or not. Where's my subtlety? Okay. With that being the draw, I think we still wait. Especially because if we draw a land, we can go Teferi Hero plus and hold up Leak. Yeah, I think I really want to be able to jam Teferi next turn, so... I always think Sunhome enters tapped. It just doesn't. Mr. Moist, thank you for your Twitch Prime subscription. Hope you have a good day today. I forgot that we were gonna... I maybe committing to the Raugrin thing would be a good bit, but also no one would click on the title. I really have to cater to my boomer audience, you know? Why aren't you playing Batterskull 2 in this deck? We'll play Batterskull 2 when it's legal. Voidwalker with Persist in Persist mandatory in Orzhov decks. No, I don't think so. Metalwork Colossus is a card that benefits from high artifact CMCs. Doesn't it? It's only non-creature those, right? It's non-creature, I think. And so these are both creatures. I do like Metalwork Colossus though. Big fan of that card. No, I think Kaldra will be good in Stoneblade decks. If anybody tells you that Kaldra will not be good in Stoneblade decks, what you're supposed to do, and this will keep you safe, is put your hands on your ears and say, Aspiring Spike told me Kaldra will be good. Aspiring Spike told me Kaldra will be good. And just keep saying that over and over again, and then they'll leave you alone. Oh, Wildfire their haste land. 0% chance Kaldra will be good. Alright, everybody, to Canister. Aspiring Spike told me Kaldra will be good. Aspiring Spike told me Kaldra will be good. And then Canister will just disappear. Close your eyes. Don't think about anything. Just close your eyes. Put your hands on your ears. It's a snap Canister out of existence. I don't feel so good, Mr. Spike. Do I think the legendary monkey is overhyped? So if I was working for Wizards, and if the monkey came to my desk, I would want to send it back. And I feel like the monkey of all the cards in the new set is like the only card I'm like not really happy with how it's printed. I think it's a little too pushed. I think it does too much for too little, and that's, you know, usually the magic formula for being too good, you know? Too much for too little. I'll just snap Wildfire on myself. Got a lot of cards in our hand, huh? But I want to get the... Oh, I guess they're almost out of basics. Okay, we'll target them, I think. But I do want to get the Feast and Famine going next turn. The monkey won't even see play. There's no way it doesn't see play, I think. Card's insane, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but I posted a Jun list that plays the monkey to Twitter this morning. I think it looks really good. I'll play it as soon as I can, Gabriel. Card availability is going to be an issue during release, like it usually is. So it is possible it'll take me a little while to get around to it. But as soon as I get the cards, I'll play it. If the germ gets bounced, it's really hard to reset Kaldra. Yeah, I mean that's cards have answers to them, right? But this card also like dodges, destruction based removal, and it's okay that it's really hard to reset Kaldra, right? Just because that's the worst case scenario, but it also dodges a lot of things. Gets around a lot. I don't know what's in my opponent's hand. They're just like not doing anything. I'm gonna keep up Logic Knot in case they have like Beast within or something weird. Lava Dart doesn't exist, Copium. You make some good points, Canister. I don't know. I mean, you're not wrong that Lava Dart would be good against these cards, but I mean, I'm not even sure like how it's obviously Dart's obviously good against these, but it's like way different than darting a 2-mana spell as well. But I thought I disappeared, Canister. This didn't work. Sorry. I think it'll be good. It's possible you side out your Ragavans against like Lava Dart decks specifically. Yeah, but you're still just trading card parity if they dart, even if they sack the land to the dart. I think it'll be okay. Yeah, the floor on Ragavan is you spend 1 mana on it, your opponent spends 1 mana on it, 1 mana to kill it, and that's a relatively even trade, especially in a Jund deck that, is kind of wanting to get a bunch of 1-for-1s anyways. And then if Ragavan ever gets to hit your opponent, it's just nuts, I think. Or bananas, rather. If you remember like LSV's old article about should Death Shadow be banned, like he makes a really good point that no matter how good your card is against Death Shadow, your Death Shadow opponent is playing like 7 or 8 discard spells. And so, and it's also true that, 2-for-1ing yourself, it can be a bit awkward against Death Shadow as well. Like you have like a lack of cards in your hand a lot of the time against Death Shadow. Shadow decks might even be straight. Oh, Amulet again. Wow. Shadow decks might actually be blue-black and play Counterspell as well. And then Counterspell is like very good against Solitude sometimes. So I don't think that Solitude. It's also true that like not every deck is going to be playing Solitude. So not every Solitude deck is going to have it at the right time. I don't think that Solitude just kills Death Shadow, no. But it is a good card against Death Shadow. That's absolutely true. Probably not good to Mana Leak the Grazer. Don't you need more mana fixing for Turak? You play less black sources than blue for Cryptic decks? Maybe. Maybe. The mana base probably needs to be looked at again. I agree for the list I posted this morning. But also like there's actually like 30-ish people on that post like all trying to change the deck. But I mostly just wanted to post a shell for people to take a look at rather than say this is like definitively the final list for the end of time. But everybody's going to be tweaking and changing as they always do. And as they should do. So we do get Titaned next turn if they have Bounce Land plus Titan. And we don't draw anything. I guess I'll just brainstorm and try to hope that they're on Summoner's Pact and we can force. Can force. We've been discussing Alara tricolor deck upgrades. Would Naya be viable as well? Well, the problem with Naya in Modern has always been, and continues to be, that you just have really bad interaction against big mana and combo. It's like you could just have such a hard time against any big mana or combo deck. Well, I guess we know that we're just drawing 2 Flagstones, so let's concede. Yeah, Merfolk seems fine. We'll see how good it ends up being. We did just beat Titan in games 2 and 3 last match, so I'm feeling somewhat confident in our ability to do it again. We'll see what happens. This is how I sideboarded. Going to 5. Going to 4. This was tough. I'm just going to keep 3 lands Jace. I think the weakest weapon is now between Fire, Ice, Feast, Famine, Maul of the Skyclaves. I mean, of those, Maul of the Skyclaves for most decks. But I think you're going to see in Stoneblade decks, like, main boarding Batterskull, Cauldra, and then one of those 3. And then maybe sideboarding another. Complete sure seems out of reach if they bolt your Stoneforge Mystic. I mean, yeah. But you can also put a Stoneforge Mystic into play maybe at some point in the rest of the game. And the upside is huge of that card, right? It's really, really strong if they don't kill your Stoneforge Mystic. Right? Do I think Reanimator will become viable? I posted a Dimir control deck that's playing. It's just like playing the Entomb and then the Reanimate, the Persist, kind of like as a 2-card win condition. But like it's just definitely true that Cauldra has advantages over Batterskull and the other equipment, and has disadvantages too, and that's just a good design, right? That it's not clearly the best thing to get at all moments, but you play 4 tutors for your equipments and you can get the best one for any situation. And you can also side out your Cauldra against decks with lots of removal. Yeah, turn 3 Titan with a Cavern up against our Molda 4 is good enough to win. Good enough to win, I think. As opposed to counterspell, it takes out the decision-making process. Yeah, I think you could definitely criticize that design, absolutely. Our opponent's username is Ice9 Big Fan. So is this someone who's trying to get Ice9's attention? Or is this like Ice9's alt account? Well, if my opponent's username is Ice9 Big Fan, Ice9 is a player known for playing red-white land destruction. So I'm going to keep a hand with 2 Flagstones, right? My opponent's username is Ice9 Big Fan. Ice9 only plays red-white land destruction. I just have to keep double Flagstones. There's no way I mulligan. And I've been debated. I've been debated. Yeah, but Snapkeep against Ice9 Big Fan. Opponent was not a big fan of Ice9. How could they lie to me like this? I feel like Ice9 Big Fan is clearly satirical. I mean, you probably haven't read the Sideboard guide. I have Ice9 Sideboard guide bookmarked here. I haven't read the whole thing, but I've read parts of it. It's incredibly detailed. It's like shockingly detailed. Upkeep Violent Outburst. Yeah, getting got. Don't think we can win. So Tails End counters the Cascade. Verdict can clean up post Living End. Dispute can fight over their forces, which they're probably bringing in. Then we have to play some other cards. Can play 2 Stoneforges and a Batterskull. Doesn't seem that good. Oh yeah, the Snare. Yeah. I think I just have to bring in the Stoneforge package. It's not going to be that good though. But it's kind of in the deck, so we can bring it in a lot of different matchups, of course. And not have these dead burn spells. Flash Vigilance, Devour Artifact 1. What is Devour Art again? I can't remember. It's like other stuff to give +1 counters. Weird. I guess it's like the modular payoff. I think I found Living In to be just kind of not a great matchup for these control decks. Without, you know, dedicated graveyard hate. Hopefully they have drawn all their Living Ends. Although, you know, you never really know if these decks play As Foretold or not. Get a red-white off Strand. I'm gonna get the Jeskai Triome, which is red, white, and blue. Okay, that's a really interesting draw. So as long as we don't lose the fight on our turn, we should be pretty insulated from the Living End. Do I think about Blazing Archon for the sideboard of the Reanimator decks? That says creatures can't attack you, right? I feel like you would just want to play the protection from a type of your choice. You just choose creatures. But yeah, I do think that you're going to want to sideboard some like Silver Bullet creatures, of course. I'm just not sure exactly what those are going to be. They didn't fetch a green source. It's kind of weird. I mean, I guess they have the Mana Confluence. You know, the longer they wait, you know, the longer, or you know, they do run the risk of just drawing all of their Living Ends. But we can also like miss our land drops and not do anything this game. Let me discard, I think, the Hero of Dominaria if we don't end up getting in a fight here. Seems very difficult to tap out for. Weird game. Might just lose to them having an overwhelming mana advantage. Right, I guess I'll cast this. Maybe a bit loose to do so. We only have like, we don't have a protection for our counterspell here. Didn't get punished at least. Yeah, land would be so good to draw this turn. Alright, I'll just discard the Stoneforge. Discarding a Stoneforge seem good? Maybe. Maybe. Now, like, how likely they reprint Careful Study? I feel, hasn't it been like, I don't know. I don't think it's very likely. I guess I thought I had a stop on their instep. I guess I obviously misclicked through it. Oops. It's been crunched out. Great. Yeah, I don't know what's in my opponent's hand. It seems like it's probably not very good. I mean, honestly, going for the equip might just kill us. I'm using MTG Goldfish to make the deck list. I'm just going to attack them here. And then we can go for the equip when we have 4 mana to Verdict if we get Living Ended. They're also at 7 life. They must just be so flooded. Alright, there's the land. Yeah, so if they Living End, we'll just let it resolve, then Verdict, I think. We even get a Stoneforge back to play, huh? I don't really have any reason to think they'll cast anything in response to the trigger, but it's good to just be in the habit of floating the mana here. They discarded the Living End, makes sense. If they have Violent Outburst, oh, they're waiting still, wow. Can't believe it. Force of Negation. They have 7 mana up. Or 6 mana up, so we can Logic Knot for X equals 7 exactly with the Dispute up. And then we probably, you know, I guess we have the Forces. Regime, 1 year resubscription. Very exciting. So we force this pitching Mana Leak. Happy anniversary, buddy. Another Dispute. I think I'll force pitch Dispute. And then if their last card is another counterspell, which it is, we have Verdict. Wow. What a stack, dude. Do you think Zoo is gonna be good? Maybe. Like they're like the domain, like the Tribal Flame Zoo might be a deck, yeah. We'll see. Wait, where's my Stoneforge Mystic? I thought I had a Stoneforge Mystic in the graveyard. No, I exiled to Logic. No, oh, I see. Okay. I forgot about that. Got it. Delved it with 9. Okay. I might be like a world record for most power destroyed with Supreme Verdicts. No, definitely not, actually. I'm sure someone's done infinite. I'll counterspell the Windcaller Aven. Wait, why did I put Mana Leak in my deck? No, I'm definitely upping the worst counter there. I did update it. Oh wait, was it at 39 earlier? Okay, oops. Sorry, that was not like that wasn't like a bit. All right, well, that's lethal. But it's not conceding. Well, we're all in on this unless my opponent has something that gets mana leaked here, huh? My opponent's at 4. I've got a 4/3. I'll attack for 4. They're tapping mana. Is it Violent Outburst? Is 2 Living Ends in the yard. Oh, wait, they don't have another Living Ends? Hold on, what happened? So that must be in their hand, right? Or they're just playing 2, maybe they decided 1 out. Is Riptide worth it as a single to bounce Snapcaster? I don't know. Like, I really want to be building decks with Archmage's Charm Counterspell. Honestly, Jeskai maybe just doesn't play the Wildfire package anymore. At least not in the main deck. There's 1 in Exile. I thought that was the revealed zone, that there was 1 in. What would it have been exiled to? I think I should have brought in the Typhoon. Just do it here. Yeah, like I think I kind of want to play Riptide Laboratory in the like blue-white Ephemerate deck I was playing recently, the fairy one. I didn't force a living in this game, but you are right, that is something that could have done it. Alright, let's keep this. Let's pretty make Mountains bad if I draw Wildfire. Alright, I'll play this on turn 1 in case I, draw the red source. Do we all agree the red evoker is going to be the last one spoiled? Well, it's definitely the last evoker going to be spoiled. That's just confirmed. There's a colorless evoker? No way. No way. You guys are messing with me. How is this the first I'm hearing of it if that's the case? This is just a joke? They said cycle of 6. I need to cite your sources, please. Cite your sources, please. Alright, I think I'm going to Wildfire the Flagstone. Why don't they cycle on their turn to try to hit a land? Kind of weird. They said it though, sure. That's a good debate, I think. Alright, so do they have their Ardent Plea? They do, looks like. Sad. Alright, so 11, 16. We have 2 verdicts in the deck. I think we just try to maximize our chances of finding one here. Alright, the old 2-outer. The cycle of 6 was suspend cards on evokers. So how many suspend cards have we seen? The Tutor, Gaia's Will, the Warp World. I needed to stop and pray to Klothys. Alright. So 3-2-4-1-3-2 today. Good stream today. I'm going to...